All right. Hello and welcome to the Washington Council for High School College Relations Virtual College Fair Planning Day. And thank you for joining us. A few housekeeping announcements before we get started. You can use the Q&A feature on your screen to type your questions to our panelists at any time. Your camera and microphone are both off, so our panelists cannot see nor hear you. There's just one of many different sessions happening, so be sure to sign up for more. And this presentation will be recorded and available in about a week at stripescan.com/wash council. Thank you, and I'd love to turn it over to our first institution, which is Tacoma Community College.
Hello everyone, thank you for being here. So let me share my screen with you. All right, so my name is Neelam and I am the K through 12 Outreach and Recruitment Specialist here at TCC. So if you do have any questions, please feel free to utilize the chat and then I will respond back to you through the chat as well. All right, so for Tacoma Community College, we are located in Tacoma, Washington, and we are a community college. So what that means is majority of the degrees and programs that we offer are two-year programs. So a lot of times our students come to community college first, they complete their first 2 years, and then most of them do transfer for their last 2 years to a university. But at TCC, we do offer 74 associate's degrees. We have 25 professional and technical certificates. And then we also have 4 Bachelor of Applied Science degrees on our campus as well. So we do have a variety of different programs that students can enroll into. But at TCC, we do have 5 different clusters of programs of interest for students. So that includes arts and communications, business, health and wellness, people and communities, and then also STEM programs. So this would be the different clusters that we have. And as you can see here, it does list some of the different programs that we offer under each of these clusters. And then our programs finder webpage on our school's website is actually really helpful as well because it does list all the different programs that we do offer, and everything you need to know about those programs will be listed on the programs pages as well. So like I mentioned a little earlier, we do offer multiple associate's degrees. So one pathway that students would take is they come to our school, they finish their first 2 years with us, and then they will transfer to a university to complete their last 2 years. So we do have a direct transfer agreement with the public universities within our state where students are able to transfer up to at least 90 credits when they do transfer from TCC to their university. If you are interested in attending a private university also within our state, then you can contact the admissions representative at that university to see what the process would be and how many of those credits will actually transfer over. So that is what students would do when they want to actually transfer after they're done at Tacoma Community College to a university. And then we also have different career training options as well, which fall under professional and technical certificates and programs, and then our bachelor's of science degrees as well. So a lot of these programs are more hands-on, and they're really there for students to utilize to complete their program at TCC and then go straight into the workforce. But some of these programs, you are able to still transfer to a university. So like with the nursing program, students are able to transfer to complete their last 4 years in a nursing program at an actual university. And then our bachelor's of applied science degrees, right now I only have 2 listed, but we actually have 4 now. So that's for students that are at Tacoma Community College and they want to stay with us. So they'll finish their first 2 years and then they'll apply for the bachelor's programs, and then they'll complete their last 2 years in those bachelor's programs. So we do have a variety of different options for students, whether they want to transfer or whether they want to go straight into the workforce after they graduate with us. All right, so once you kind of figure out which program you're interested in and you would like to apply, you would complete our online application, which is free for students to complete. And after you complete that application, within 2 to 3 business days, you actually will receive your welcome letter, which will let you know, you've been accepted into our school. Here's your student ID number, and then these are the next steps that you need to complete. So I do have next steps listed here. So after you do apply and receive your welcome letter, you would just set up all your student accounts. So we have 3 of them: CTC link, portal, and your TCC email. And then also another step would be funding your education. So will you be utilizing financial aid, scholarship funds? Will you be paying out of pocket? How will you be paying for school? And then another step would be having course placement on file for English and math to see if the student is at college level or if they're at pre-college level. And then we also have new student orientation that students will attend. Right now they are virtual, so you will complete that, and then those are our next steps. And you can also find these next steps on our admissions process webpage as well, and they will also be included on your welcome letter. All right, so once you become a student, there are a lot of ways for students to engage on campus by being involved in different type of activities. So we do have our Office of Student Engagement. So students are able to be involved in student body government, involved in different events and activities that are held on campus, and also have the opportunity to go into different leadership and service opportunity roles within the Office of Student Engagement. And then we also have multiple different clubs on our campus as well. So I have some listed here on the screen. If there is a club on here that you are interested in joining, you are able to do so. If there is a club that you would like to create, then you're able to do that as well through the Office of Student Engagement. So those are just some ways to be involved on campus. And then another good thing is that for our students, we do have multiple different student support services as well. So as you can see, we have multiple resources here for students, including like advising and counseling, career coach, our fitness center, workforce funding, veteran services. So we do have multiple resources for students as well. And all these resources are found on our school's webpage. And if you ever need help figuring out a resource that you can utilize, then you can contact us and we can kind of go over all the different resources and what those resources actually offer for students. And then we do also have our academic tutoring centers. So we do have 3 of them on our campus. So our business education center, the math resource center, and then our writing and tutoring center. All our tutoring centers are free for students, and we really recommend students utilize the tutoring centers. The staff members in those tutoring centers are great, and they are really there to help students be successful in whatever classes that they are in. So those are some of our student support services, and then the academic tutoring centers that we have on our campus. And then if you are interested in attending TCC, just one important date that I kind of want to put out there is that if you will be attending our school for fall quarter, then financial aid, if you will be utilizing that, the deadline is May 27th. So that is coming up fairly quickly. So if you have not completed your application for financial aid yet, and you will be attending TCC for the fall and you want to utilize financial aid, just make sure that you have that application completed before that May 27th deadline. And then I also included a few important pages that would be helpful for students, especially in the beginning stages. So the admissions process page, the admissions support page, and then our programs webpage as well. All right, and if you ever have any questions in the future, or you need help with completing the application or completing next steps, then please feel free to reach out to our outreach and recruitment office. So I have our email listed here and the phone number. So please feel free to reach out to us and we will be able to assist you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Leland. Next up, we are going to have Whitman College.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Alvaro. Good morning, everyone. I'll actually be sharing my contact information here in the chat so that you have it right away. And as we get started in talking about Whitman, First, I want to summarize and say this is a private liberal arts college. We're in Walla Walla, Washington, and we'll talk about how the location impacts our school, absolutely. But for the sake of conversation in your own college search, know that a liberal arts school tends to be smaller and has a lot of academic flexibility. So you can see some of the overall statistics there that really help represent what a Whitman liberal arts school is all about as you look at other schools across the country. But I want to start with the curriculum and the rigor, because this is one of the most unique parts about going to Whitman and getting one of the best educations you can in the Northwest or really across the country more broadly. And it starts with that curriculum and rigor in the fact that we want students who are taking challenging courses in high school that they're inspired by. Some students, we admit, have 10 APs and 10 IBs and an incredible array of hard courses. But if you can't take that on, that's okay. We want you taking the courses that really inspire you and that you're most passionate about. Because ultimately, those are the students who have the most success at Whitman, the people who come into the classroom and infuse that discussion and setting with their own passion about the subject. There's no one major that's most dominant. You'll see plenty of students in biology, philosophy, politics, economics, math. It's all there for you, and you don't have to actually declare your major here until the middle of your sophomore year. So you've got a lot of time to figure that out. You'll also see students double majoring, combining their majors, planning their own majors. There's a lot of flexibility in how you use the curriculum and overlap certain departments. I think that interdisciplinary approach is very prominent at Whitman. Even beyond certain majors and minors, we've actually introduced an academic theme annually. And this year it's been race, violence, and health. And so not only is that theme and subset of topics interwoven into every single class you'll take here for this year, but we also have a series of guest speakers and lecturers that come in and talk to those topics as well. And next year, we're likely to have a new theme. So we're really excited about that introduction to the curriculum. I'll also mention that the experiential learning and the classroom discussion is a huge part of the experience here at Whitman. No matter whether you're in a STEM-based course like bio or physics, or in politics and philosophy and English, you're going to have that classroom discussion as a vital part at some stage along the way. You might be leading discussions with your peers, you might be engaging one-on-one with your professor. And the beauty of going to a school like this with only 1,500 students is that really by your junior and senior year, all of your classes will be on average of 10 or less in terms of number of students. So you're going to get that close engagement. And I think one of the most telling statistics is the fact that 95% of our faculty live within 2 miles of the campus, meaning you're not just going to know them very closely in the classroom. You might even run into them going to brunch in town or going to the farmer's market. They'll probably invite your class over for dinner at the end of the semester. So that barrier between student and professor really gets broken down quite easily. And there's this emphasis on collaboration on the research side within the classroom that you can work closely with professors to advance your own professional and academic goals. I think it's also worth talking about the community. Of course, going to small schools across the country, but especially Whitman, people really think about the relationships they want to make with their peers, with their faculty and other staff members, other people in the community. And you'll also find a common theme of liberal arts schools offering many, many different clubs and organizations that you can be a part of for your own co-curricular, hobby, and professional development. So whether you're a part of the outdoor program, the debate team, as you see here, the arts and music scene, really there are endless opportunities for you to get involved in the campus framework. And it's very flexible. You may decide to be in Greek life for a year or two and then defect to be a part of other organizations. You may decide to get more involved with the volunteer and internship side of things. And we'll speak in a minute about how that manifests in the community in the Walla Walla County. But I mention all these different opportunities about the community to say that the world is your oyster here. And the most successful students at Whitman are those who take their passions from the high school side and really apply them with full force on the college side. I think most Whitman students, if you could wrap them up in a nutshell, are people who don't need to be told to jump into their activities. They have passions, they know how to execute them, and they dive right in. Even if you don't see an organization or a club that you are interested in and that you would like to join, you can start your own. That happens every single year. And we have the student governments and deans of students and their resources to support those initiatives. Finally, I will really spend some time on the location because I think this is a massive part. And so for those of you who are in Washington, know that we are in the very southeastern corner on the desert side of the state. And I'll mention first that Whitman is on the unceded land of the Confederated Tribes of the Umatilla Indian Reservation. And particularly over the last couple of years, that's been a real point of discussion and work towards reparations, led by the students to make sure that we reassess and reevaluate the monuments on campus that pay homage to some of the colonialists who took this land, to involve the indigenous peoples who are still here in the Walla Walla County in our discussions on campus and making sure we respect their initiatives and their desire for how we use the land and working them into the community framework more than they have been previously. But I also mentioned the location because of how dependent, or should I say codependent, Walla Walla and Whitman are together. Not too many small schools and liberal arts campuses around the country will you find a community that has robust professional development opportunities. And that's the biggest thing here. I think when many students are living off campus in apartments around town during their 3rd and 4th years, many of them are in close proximity to businesses, to the neighborhoods, and really getting to know the local leaders of Walla Walla. And ultimately, when you are thinking about liberal arts schools and being in this small intentional community, you should be asking yourself, okay, I'm getting this great academic flexibility and breadth to your education, but how am I also getting those hard, tangible skills that will lead me to success in the workplace? And Walla Walla is an awesome setting for that. We are super lucky to have these incredible relationships with people in the agriculture, tech, healthcare, education sector who work with students all the time. You may be a part of the consulting corps, the community fellowship group. You may take advantage of the Whitman internship grant, which gives $3,000 to $5,000 every summer to students for an unpaid internship they've secured. So all of these different opportunities are really encouraging that professional development, and you're going to have ample opportunities to think about how to mesh your curriculum and your co-curricular involvements through organizations on campus with tangible skills you're building along the way, no matter whether you want to go straight into the workforce or to graduate school. It's all going to be there for you. Finally, I'll wrap up with some more general admission application, financial aid information, and certainly I'll be a great resource to follow up with via email if these are things you'd like to talk about further. But you'll see a couple of the deadlines we have. There's early decision 1, 2, as well as regular decision. I'll note that the admission rates are generally much higher for ED1 and ED2. I'll also draw your attention to some of those application components, specifically being test optional and interview optional. We've been test optional for 5 years, and that has no plans of changing. So understand that we really look far beyond that testing. We, of course, want to see your academic performance and the rigor of your courses that you took on, but we're looking at the entire human in the application. We want to get to know you very well and know what you're passionate about, what you're most excited to do in college. I also mentioned the interview specifically because while it is an optional component, it makes such a difference for so many students in the application when you have a chance to chat for 30 minutes to an hour with a senior intern, with one of us as the admission officers, and really have some extra context to your application in case you didn't think to write it there. We are lucky to read fewer applications than a lot of other competitive colleges, so we get to know you better during the application process and can spend more time on your essays and other pieces of information. So I highly encourage you to think about an interview which are open to current seniors in high school. So look ahead to that during the late summer and early fall. And then financial aid, you'll see the general types of aid that we do offer, but I'll specifically mention that the vast majority of students are on some financial aid package at Whitman. You'll go online and you'll see the sticker price, and you'll see about $70,000 for the cost of attendance. And it's going to seem ludicrous. I certainly could not have afforded it when I was going to school, and I was lucky to attend a similar school that gave me a lot of need-based aid, just like Whitman does for so many families. You're going to be eligible for merit academic scholarships. You're going to be eligible to qualify for need-based aid. I'll mention too, given that we're in Washington right now, for any of your families that make less than $80,000 a year, Whitman actually guarantees to meet full need with your scholarship if you're admitted to Whitman. So we can certainly have more individual conversations about financial aid and how that manifests for your families, but know that there are plenty of resources here to make that cost of attendance much more feasible for you. And know that so rarely do students ever pay that full sticker price. So with that, I'll wrap up. Again, please utilize my email in the chat that I've posted. I would love to be a resource and talk further and answer specific questions about academic departments, extracurricular interests, your application in general, and your college search. And I'll also say that we've been offering in-person visits for the entire year and doing it COVID safely on a one-on-one family basis. So if you're in the area or would like to make a trip out, know that we can definitely accommodate that. Our schedule is open for visits through August, and we would love to see you here. So with that, I will pause and I will turn back over to Alvaro.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Henry. Our last school is going to be Western Washington University.
Thank you for that introduction. Go ahead and get my screen up. All right, so I'm here to share some info with you about Western. I'm also joined, my name is Julia Ide. I'm an admissions counselor at Western. And I'm joined by my colleague, Tina Castillo. She'll be answering questions in the chat. So say hi, send in your Q&A questions, let us know what you want to know more about. I want to start off with just some information about our location. We are in Bellingham, Washington, which is about 90 minutes north of Seattle, to give you an idea of where we're located. And we're really lucky and unique in our location for a couple of different reasons. One of which you can sort of see from that picture there is we are right next to the water. Bellingham Bay is about a mile away from campus. It's really easily accessible. There's some great parks along the waterfront as well. And then the opposite direction is the Mount Baker ski area, about 60 minutes to the east. So if you enjoy any kind of outdoor activity, whether it's on the water, in the mountains, or literally anything in between, because campus is between the water and the mountains, we have that. We have opportunities for kayaking, mountain biking, hiking. So it's a really great place to explore. The city of Bellingham itself has about 92,000 people. The town's pretty spread out too, and we have a really great connection between Western and Bellingham. So you're not just part of the Western community, you are part of that Bellingham community, whether it's going to the downtown area, which is just a short 15-minute walk away from campus, whether it's heading down there to get a bite to eat, some coffee between classes, or perhaps working in the community as well. There are quite a few job opportunities close to campus. The downtown area is really great to find some local shops to explore, used bookstores, independent film centers. If you love a good documentary, it's a really cool place. So there's lots to do both on campus, in downtown Bellingham, and then the surrounding areas. Some quick facts about Western before I go into telling you about our academics. So we're a mid-sized university. We have about 16,000 students, so we're kind of on the upper end of mid-size. And 95% of those students are undergraduate students coming in to earn their bachelor's degrees. You can see our average class size of 27, 18 to 1 student to faculty ratio, and 99% of our classes are taught by professors. I'm just going to ask you to hold on to the mid-sized university, 95% undergraduate, and 99% of classes taught by professors. I'll tell you on the next slide why that matters. All right, so academics, we have more than 175 different majors across our 7 colleges that make up Western Washington University. So there are many options out there. The best advice I can give you is explore. You can check out our majors catalog and see all of the different programs available, as well as the curriculum for each program. It'd be a very long PowerPoint if I listed all 175 plus majors. So I really encourage you to just see what's out there. You might find something that you didn't even know you could major in, and you might find a program that's going to be that perfect fit. I want to shout out just a few of our colleges off of that list. First of all, Woodring College of Education. So Western started back in 1893 as a teacher's college. We started as the Whatcom Normal School, and that's where our history is, in education and training teachers. Woodring College has programs in early childhood, elementary and secondary education, special education, and educational leadership as well. So if you want to be a teacher, I really encourage you to take a look at Woodring. We have quite a presence on education in Washington State. Next there, I want to shout out Huxley College of the Environment. Huxley College was one of the first environmental colleges to be established in the United States. So this is something else that Western has prioritized for some time. The study of the environment, sustainability, and how we can make both our campus and our communities more sustainable. If you are interested in the environment, really take a look at Huxley College. Because it's a full college of the environment, that means that there's multiple degree options within the environmental sciences and environmental studies, so that you can find that program that's going to be the best fit for what you want to do after college. Speaking of finding that right fit, last on that list, but definitely not least, is Fairhaven College of Interdisciplinary Studies. Fairhaven's actually our smallest college on campus. They have around 300 students, so it's a pretty tight-knit community. But what's really unique about Fairhaven is you actually have the opportunity to design your own degree. So rather than, for example, looking at the popular majors, majoring in English or psychology, rather than having that curriculum created for you by the department, you're actually able to work with faculty and an advisor to see what classes are out there at Western and to narrow down your interests so that it's really tailored to your specific interests. When I mentioned on that last slide, okay, 95% undergraduate, 99% of classes taught by professors, hold on to those numbers. So the reason those matter when you're thinking about what school you'd want to be an undergraduate at is that you have access to your faculty, you have access to research, you have access to all of those opportunities. At some perhaps larger universities with more graduate students, you might have to compete with graduate students to get those research positions, and you might have more classes taught by grad students. So at Western, you have access to your faculty from day one. You can go to their office hours, ask them questions, ask about their research, and maybe even get involved in research as well. We've had students participate in research on campus in the surrounding area throughout Washington State. One that I really love to tell people about is some environmental science students from Huxley were able to participate in the Great Goat Lift, where they worked with Washington State wildlife biologists to relocate mountain goats from one side of the Olympic mountain range where the population was too high to the other side where the population was in decline. So that's just one example of something you could be involved in at Western. If you're more interested in the humanities, though, there are plenty of opportunities for you as well, or the arts. We have multiple galleries on campus if you'd like to have the opportunity to either work in a gallery or display your work. If you're interested in writing and journalism, we have 5 student-run publications, so you can get experience with reporting, editing, publishing. You can get that full experience. And of course, student life and community. That's another big piece of looking at a college. What is it going to be like to live there day to day? What can you be involved in outside of the classroom? So we have more than 250 different clubs at Western, and it's really easy to get involved. Right on the first week of the quarter, in fall quarter, we have our Associated Students Clubs and Activities Fair. So this is when all of our clubs come out to the center of campus, Red Square, and you can see what's out there. We have academic-based clubs like Chemistry Club, Psychology Club, the Professional Women's Association. We have a skiing and snowboarding club, which is actually one of our largest clubs on campus. So this is a great way to get connected to other students who have those similar interests and just start building your community, building your support systems. If you plan to live on campus, it's not required to live on campus your first year or any year, but we certainly do encourage it for your first year. And you can get involved in residence hall activities as well. That's just a really easy way to be involved and know those students living around you. We have a great study abroad program at Western as well. If you'd like to go abroad during your time in college, our Education Abroad office can help out with that, but you don't have to go far away to see some really amazing places. So the Lakewood Boathouse over on Lake Whatcom, about 12 minutes away from campus, and the Outdoor Center. Those are just 2 other resources we have to help you explore this beautiful part of the Pacific Northwest that we're in. You can go to the boathouse and rent out kayaks, canoes, paddle boards, take a sailing class. And at the Outdoor Center, you can borrow different equipment and also make sure you know how to safely use all of that, so you can sign up for an excursion led by Outdoor Center staff as well. Some support programs we have as well. We want to make sure you have those resources you need to succeed, because there's no one formula to a successful college experience. So take advantage, whatever school you end up at, take advantage of those support resources, whether it's in the form of a tutoring center for academic support, our research and writing studio, academic advising, the career services center, counseling center. We have a huge variety of resources. So make sure that if you have something that you need, let us know so we can get you connected with that resource. Some quick info about our application. So it's an online application. You'll send us your transcripts. Test scores are optional. So if you've taken the SAT, ACT and want to send that in, you certainly can, but it's not required. The essay and activity list is where we get to know you as an individual. So what you're passionate about, what you're really excited about studying, maybe what you want to do for a career. It's really flexible to your specific interests. And we do have a Tell Us More essay as well. So this is where all that extra info you want us to know can go. We do have an application fee, $60, but we have need-based fee waivers as well. So if you need one, please feel free to request one. You can do that at the end of the application. And financial aid and scholarships. So FAFSA and WAFSA, you'll want to make sure you submit either your FAFSA application for federal aid or WAFSA, which is the application for Washington State aid if you don't qualify to use the FAFSA. You'll want to do one or the other. And when you apply to Western, your application also doubles as your application for our admissions scholarship. So those merit-based awards, our Multicultural Achievement Program, Leadership and Distinguished Scholars Program, you get automatically reviewed for those. So it's another reason, really put some time and care into your essay, since we do use that when we're reviewing for some of those awards. And then once you get to Western, you do also have access to our Scholarship Center, which can help out with looking for additional awards for your later years. Here we have our team, and we're here to be a resource to you. So please reach out to us. Let us know what you want to know more about. If you have questions, if you're wanting to explore this process, we'd love to chat with you more. So you can see our contact info there and just let us know what we can do to help out. We are here to support you through this process so it doesn't feel quite as scary. Thanks. And with that, we'll pass back to, oops, there we go.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Julia. All right, folks. So for the last couple of minutes that we have in our session, I'd love to invite back our panelists. And we're just going to engage in a very quick Q&A session. So we're going to go in the same order. If I could have Tacoma Community College answer the question, what advice would you give someone going through the college search process?
Yeah, I would really just say reach out. I mean, our school's website, not only us, but like every school's website has a lot of information listed on their web pages regarding like programs, the admissions process, anything you really need to know on how to get started. But I would recommend reaching out because every school, we do have different like college reps or admissions representatives that can kind of just help you throughout that whole process. So that way you're not alone in it. You have someone there that can kind of guide you through that process. So that would be my advice for students.
Awesome. Thank you, Neelam. Next up is going to be Whitman College.
I'm actually going to take that one step further and say that not only should you lean on college reps, but use this to connect to current students. Ultimately, they are your best resource to get on the ground firsthand anecdotes of what it's like to live and be at that school. And we can help set you up. Typically, we have access to tour guides, senior interns who have had those experiences in certain academic departments and extracurricular organizations, whatever opportunity you're looking for. So specify those for us when you reach out, and we can happily put you in touch with students who will actually give you the most helpful information down the road.
Awesome. Thank you, Henry. And then we'll wrap up this question with Western Washington University.
Yeah, my advice is to take some time and really think about what it is that you want in a college, not just what program do you want to study, what academic opportunities do you want, but where do you want to live? Do you want to be in an urban setting? Do you want to be in a rural setting? What kind of activities do you want to be able to continue to do? So just take time and really think about what's important to you, what you want to prioritize in your college search. That will just kind of help you assess those different options since you have practically limitless options out there. That'll help you weigh those different opportunities.
Awesome. Thank you, Julia. And that brings us to our next question that is, of course, very important, but a little more on the fun side. So we're going to go in the same order. Tacoma Community College, could you really talk to us about what is your favorite event or tradition on campus?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I would say my favorite event is Welcome Week. So at the beginning of the quarter, we do have Welcome Week for students. And there's just a lot of like different activities going on. Students are able to meet other students, meet staff. They always provide free food and good food at that. So it is really nice just that whole week, whether it's returning students or new students. The vibe of that event is just really nice because we kind of get to build community and we really get to meet like new faces around our campus. So I would say that is my favorite event.
Awesome.
One of the springtime themes or traditions that Whitman leans into, because we have so many ducks on campus, they're kind of the unofficial mascot. There actually is a heated pond on campus, which is why they stay around all winter. But every spring there's a huge rubber duck hunt on campus because the Student Engagement Center will host a raffle, and the more ducks you bring, the better your chances are. So it might be the one time you see students up at 8 a.m. excited to be running around campus and hunting for ducks, not live ducks, just plastic ducks.
Awesome. Thank you, Henry. Julia, is there anything else you'd like to add?
One of my favorite traditions on campus, also relating to animals, is in the spring, our Associated Students brings a petting zoo to campus. It's a really nice time if you're a little stressed about finals to go look at the potbelly pigs and hold some bunnies. So that's one of my favorite traditions because you get to see some really cute animals.
Awesome. Those are really neat traditions. And I hope that this question doesn't sound too similar to the last one, but maybe you guys can line us on a couple of hidden gems that you have around campus of information. So Again, if a Tacoma Community College should join us again and just tell us what is an interesting fun fact about your school.
A fun fact. I mean, we do have different like scavenger hunts because there are things around our campus that like some people don't really notice. We do have a daycare on our campus, and they like came up with this project where they had these like little rocks and they were writing messages on the rocks. And a lot of people started doing that. So there is like kind of a rock garden in one area of our campus, but then you will kind of see rocks throughout, and they just have like really cute messages on there. And it kind of just like makes your day to like find something and you're like, oh, that's really cool. So I would say that's kind of one little fun fact that we kind of have on our campus.
Very representative of Whitman's nature and natural landscape is the fact that there is literally a 1-to-1 student to tree ratio. It is that beautiful and that natural, if you will. So students certainly are mentally healthy, I think, because of it.
And my fun fact, if we have any Harry Potter fans here, is Western has a national award-winning Quidditch team on campus. If you want to learn to play Quidditch, you can come do that at Western.
Awesome. Yeah, I always love finding out those like interesting hidden facts. So thank you so much, folks. Awesome. So that actually brings us to our end of our conversation. And I just want to start off by telling our panelists, thank you so much for being here, for talking to us a little bit more and engaging about the fantastic things that your institutions have to offer. And thank you so much to our audience for making it out here today. Once you close this window, there's going to be a very quick 4-question survey that we'd appreciate any feedback that you could provide. There are more sessions to be offered, so be sure to sign up for more. And in about a week, you'll find the same recording at stripescan.com/wash council. And that's it, folks. Thank you so much and have a great rest of your day.